Hey everybody. Um I am recording this today because I feel this is important for me to say. Today is June 8th, 2022. Um 10 years ago today, my best friend was taken from me. Um he was taken from all of us. Many of you have told me that my story has inspired you for whatever reason, and I am beyond grateful that my story has been able to touch any of you and save any of you in a hard time and help any of you in any way. But today I want to tell you Matt's story. Matthew was so special. He was older than I was. He was born October 13th, 1993, so about a year and 4 months older than me, but he was always my little brother. I know that sounds so weird, but it's true. He was always smaller than me. I was always kind of the leader. So, for whatever reason, despite me being the younger one, Matthew was my little brother. And it always just kind of worked for us. And Matt and I grew up inseparable. I mean, we were the best of friends. If you saw one of us, the other one was close by. Um, Weeks at a time, we'd spending the night at the other person's house. His mom and my mom were best friends, so it was even easier than people thought to be around each other all the time. And um, at one point, we literally lived 2 streets apart, so we would just walk to each other's houses. Um, and God, Matt was so special. He had a smile that could light up the room and an energy that could just bring so much joy to the people around him. He was family to all of us. When I was when I was 12, he uh, he moved to Missouri, which was really hard on both of us. Um, More so him because it uprooted his life, and I never understood that as a kid how selfish I was being, thinking, oh, my best friend's leaving, but he was leaving everything, and he handled it with so much grace. Um, and we stayed in touch, and um, a few years later, I remember Matt came out to me, and he was so nervous. He thought it would change our friendship somehow, and it never would. He was my brother. And I already knew. We all did. Sometimes you just know. And so when he came out to me, it was this huge weight off his shoulders, knowing that he was still my best friend and he was still my brother and I still loved him to death. And that was a huge moment for us. And we drifted a little bit, being in different parts of the country, and in high school do that to you. We drifted, but we were still friends and still brothers, and we still checked in on each other. And uh, Matt was making strides. God, was he making strides towards his future. And graduating from high school a year before me, because he was older than me. It is what it is. And he was going to go to the New York School for Film, I think it was, School for Film Arts, if I remember correctly. And I'll never forget this. It was June 4th. He got on Facebook and he posted one of those truth is statuses where you could like it. And he would go to your page and post something about you saying truth is yada yada yada. And I liked it because, I was curious what he'd have to say. And he said, truth is, Mr. Daniel Anders, I love you with all my heart. You are my best friend in this world and my brother to the end of my life. And I'm going to be in Maryland in a few weeks. I'm going to be in Maryland in July for a few weeks. Let's get together. And I said, of course, come to the beach, because I lived in Ocean City at the time. And we'll hook up and hang out and catch up and just we'll make the most of it. It's been 5 years since I've seen my brother. Let's, make up for lost time. We were so excited. "10 years ago today, I got a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning to tell me that Matt was gone. I thought it was a prank. I thought it was some sick joke. I don't think I ever actually apologized to Felicia for how much of an asshole I probably was that day. Because I did think it was a sick joke, and I probably treated her like shit when she called me, and I never even thought about it. But she did. She called me. And she didn't have to. She didn't know me. But she was Matt's best friend out in Missouri, and they were super close. They were best friends out there, and she didn't know me. She didn't have to call me. Anyone could have called me, but she did. One best friend calling another, that's special. And that was a thank you that I never gave her that I should have. And that's on me. But I remember calling my dad, freaking out. and he said he would look into it. Then I called my mom after my dad and found out that it was true to let her know, and she was devastated. And at first she thought I was talking about my other friend Matt, because I had another very close friend named Matt that she looked at kind of like a son. She thought I was talking about him, and she was really upset. And then I told her it was our Matt, and she was broken. She was heartbroken. I'll never forget that tone in her voice. I'll never be able to forget it. But Matt died a hero, and people deserve to know that. Matt died standing up for his mom, trying to be a good person, and being struck down for it in a horrible, horrible circumstance. And my opinions on it aren't important in this day. All that matters is saying that Matt was a hero. My hero. And he deserves to be remembered. And he deserves to be immortalized forever. And his story will be told for as long as I have a voice. A lot of you know that my channel, my goal with it is to make a difference. Yeah, I would love one day to be making several $1,000s a month and streaming to thousands of people every night. But my goal, my priority is making a difference. And Matt's story makes a difference. Matt was a young, openly gay man who was proud of who he was and wore himself on his sleeves. And I could not be more proud of my best friend and my brother. I will tell his story as long as I have a channel and a voice to tell it on. Because he deserves it. So I leave you with this. On this day, a day where we remember that life is very, very random and can be very, very short. Tell somebody you love them. Check in on somebody that needs you. Make that phone call. Send that text. Knock on that door. If they're still here, it's not too late. Don't let it be too late. Matt lived every day of his life striving to be the best he could be. I owe it to him to do the same as much as I can, and I'm not anywhere near as great a person as Matt was, and I know that, and I accept that, and I acknowledge that with all my heart. But the least I can do is try and make him proud of me. that is the end of this video. Go tell somebody you love them. I don't care who. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your mother. I already said your mother. Your son, your daughter, your uncle, your nephew, your aunt, your niece, your grandmother, your grandfather, your neighbor, your best friend, your dog, your cat, your parakeet, your chimpanzee. I don't care. That hobo that lives down the street that you talk to every day when you go to McDonald's. I don't care. Go tell somebody you love them. They might need it. You might need it. And with all that being said, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you guys for listening to me rant. Thank you guys for listening to me tell Matt's story, or at least part of it. I'm gonna tell more of his story tonight on stream. And for anybody that sees this at a later date, if you want to hear Matt's story, ask me. I'll always tell Matt's story. I'm proud to. Just like I'm proud to call him my best friend and I'm proud to call him my brother. Thank you guys for listening. And with all that being said, as always, I am Pip. Y'all are the greatest. I love you guys. And when in doubt, I'll see you next time. See ya.